Hello, and welcome to DataSunrise's functionality demonstration. This demo will show how to install DataSunrise Database Protection Suite on Linux. Before we install DataSunrise Database Protection Suite, we need to install the ODBC driver. This driver is absolutely necessary to use, so please download it. We need to install a Unix ODBC driver now. As CentOS is a Red Hat-based operating system, to install the ODBC driver from the repository, we need to execute the following command: sudo yum install Unix ODBC. And as you can see, the ODBC driver has been successfully installed. Now we can proceed with DataSunrise installation. I have already downloaded the installation package. It's in the Downloads folder on our Linux machine. But before we can install the installation package, we need to get to the Downloads folder. If you can't run the downloaded file, you need to make it executable. To do that, we'll be using the following command from the registration letter. This command makes the file executable. Now let's install the already executable file with this command. This command installs the executable file. Now we need to specify a target directory. Let's use the default directory. For that, just press Enter. The installation is in progress. The installation is complete now and prompts us to use the following address to access the user graphical interface: https://localhost:11,11000. We have just installed the local server version. In case you need a multi-server option, please refer to the administration guide for Linux accessible at the official website of DataSunrise. The default login to use for DataSunrise is admin, but please copy and save the password here for further use. The password can be changed later, though. We're all set now to follow the link. Let's use the host computer to access DataSunrise. To do that, we need to know the IP of the DataSunrise's host. For that, we'll be using the ifconfig command. After execution of this command, we'll learn the IP address of the virtual machine, and we'll be able to connect to DataSunrise via the host computer's browser. DataSunrise has a self-signed SSL certificate by default, so you should accept it if requested. Now enter the login and the password. The login is admin by default. After that, click the Login button. Now, please enter the license key. If you downloaded DataSunrise from our official website, the trial key was sent to your inbox. And if you bought the DataSunrise license, you were able to get the license key after that. Now we need to create a target database profile, that is to specify parameters of the database you want protected. For this demo, we created a sample PostgreSQL database, which we're going to protect now. You can see a few fields which are needed to set protection parameters for the database. In the logical name text field, you can give any name to your database profile which will be used as a reference to the database. Let the logical name for our sample database be testdb. Then select the database type from the drop-down list. For this video, we'll be using the PostgreSQL sample database mentioned earlier. The next field is hostname IP, that contains the hostname or the IP address of the server the database is installed on. Please note that the port text field is auto-completed and a standard port number is used. The default login text field specifies the database username which DataSunrise should use to connect to the database. The password text field sets the database user password, which DataSunrise has to use to connect to the database. Connection with a database is needed to get metadata from the target database. The database text field is auto-completed with a standard database name. This field contains the name of the target database. It is required for connecting to the target database. Click the Test button to check the connection between your database and DataSunrise. As you can see, the test is successful, and now we can create either a sniffer or a proxy action for the database. The server drop-down list selects the DataSunrise server, DataSunrise instance, to open a proxy or a sniffer. As our installation is local, only this option is available here. The action drop-down list selects an operating mode DataSunrise should employ to process requests to the target database. Two options are available: proxy, sniffer. When deployed in the sniffer mode, DataSunrise is connected to a span port of a network switch. Thus, it acts as a traffic analyzer capable to capture copy of the database traffic from a mirrored port of the network switch. When deployed in the proxy configuration, DataSunrise works as an intermediary between a database server and its client applications. Thus, it is able to process all incoming queries before redirecting them to a database server. We'll go for proxy. The port text field, for proxy mode only, is the number of network ports DataSunrise should be listening to. By default, it's auto-completed. The database is transferred to a non-standard port, while the proxy server is using the standard port which was previously taken by the database. Thus, client applications connect to the DataSunrise proxy instead of connecting to the database directly. Now click Save to save the changes. The boxes for Create an Audit Rule for DML and DDL operations are checked. It means that the audit rules have been created for all DML and DDL operations. Now click Finish. We're on the DataSunrise dashboard. Let's go to the Configuration section to see how our database looks now. Make sure that the Databases section in the left pane is selected so that you can see the profiles of the protected databases. Here you can see the database we have just successfully protected. You can click Edit if you want to change some of the information. Let's see how the newly created default rules work. To get additional information on these rules, or to modify them, we need to go to the Data Audit section of the GUI and select the Rules section in the left pane. Here you can see our example audit rules, which were created automatically, and more additional information. In case you need to make some changes to the example rules, you need to click the Edit button. Let's go to the Events section and see what events have been registered so far, as audit rules keep track of queries to a database. Obviously, no events have been registered so far as we've just installed DataSunrise, and no queries have been made to our sample database. But we have two audit rules in place, and we'll show now how they register all queries. To do that, let's go to the console and connect to our proxy. For our PSQL command, we'll be using the 5433 port, which we specified as the proxy port. We're connected, and now let's make a query to the database. Let's check the database version for 1. Let's see how DataSunrise is reacting to that query. Now let's refresh the data to update the information. As you can see, this query to our sample database, like any other query would, has been registered. Active protection rules are set up in the Data Security section above. We have shown how the audit rules work. DataSunrise supports such features as dynamic masking and database security rules. You can set up and adjust these in the corresponding sections. Thank you for your time. This is the end of this tutorial.